Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, one and all, to the great D&N Show. My name is Natsu. As always, I am here with...
D-Nag, how is it going, people? In correction, it's the D&N Show.
Oh, my...
Fuck you.
My fucking bag.
Anyway, today happens to be a wonderful holiday.
St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day. And today we thought we'd do a little bit of a quick episode on St. Patrick's Day and the little bit of history and information behind it, because just a little education, not an education lesson, but a quick little history lesson you could call it.
Knowledge.
Kind of a little history behind St. Patrick's Day, considering nowadays it seems, no offense to the world, but it seems like St. Patrick's Day has become a little bit of a
reason to get drunk.
Let's just go out and get drunk and do whatever we want
and act like fools.
So we're going to do a little bit of history on, see what St. Patrick's Day was about, and some actually interesting facts to know about St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, like, I'm honestly going to state this right now. He's probably going to do a lot of the talking, and if you see us look down, it's because we have notes on my phone.
Yes.
So, cheers to that.
So a lot of people probably know that St. Patrick's Day was originally celebrated because it's the anniversary of St. Patrick's death.
Yeah.
He was the St. Patrick was a patron saint of Ireland. And he got brought to Ireland when he was enslaved at 16 years old. I think it was. And he eventually escaped, and he was credited with basically advancing Christianity through the Isle. Yeah. Which is why they made it where it's obviously St. Patrick's Day now, is because he was the reason why Christianity eventually became a big thing in Ireland.
Yeah.
Although it originated in Ireland, but records do show that the first official St. Patrick's Day parade and feast actually happened in America, thanks to the Spanish.
Yes, sir.
I couldn't see. Yeah, wasn't it the Spanish?
It was. I think
it was.
If I remember right,
Irish immigrants.
And then the Spanish colony was the ones that put on the festival and everything like that.
That's right. But that was actually held on March 17th, 1601, in where is now St. Augustine, Florida, actually, which is a really interesting thing to know, is that obviously this is an Irish holiday, but the first official St. Patrick's Day parade was actually in America.
Yeah.
It was interesting to know. However, another interesting thing to know about St. Patrick's Day is that, every year we see that the Chicago River gets dyed green. Which is a really big thing, and it's a very, very long tradition, which is actually, it originally started in 1962, if you'll believe, which is surprising that it happened so later on in history, but according to this, pollution control workers actually originally used dye to trace illegal sewage discharges in the river. When they found out that it turned the river quite green, they realized that could be a good way to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. So that year, they actually released 100 pounds worth of green vegetable dye into the river, making it green for an entire week. Which nowadays they only use 40 pounds. They only use 40 pounds of the green vegetable dye to prevent environment damages, which back then they probably didn't care.
No.
They just said, you know what, we're going all in. We're dumping all this stuff into the river and saying, screw it.
No.
Which really, which was really interesting. Now they're like, okay, let's calm that down. Let's use 40 pounds instead of.
Let's take it down a couple of notches.
Which there was also something I saw that there was I didn't write this down, but there was a Spanish colony that some guy somewhere else in a different colony claimed that he did it first because he was experimenting on how to turn the I don't remember what river it was either.
He was trying to
he was trying to experiment on turning it green, turning the river where he was located green, but the experiments didn't work, and they were it only gave it a slightly green tint, but it didn't go like full out green like the Chicago River does every year. So he tried to claim that he did it first, which obviously, experiments can go wrong, but there was that too that I saw. I didn't write that down obviously, but yeah, there was that too. Now some people probably know this and maybe don't, is that green is actually worn on St. Patrick's Day to be invisible to leprechauns.
Yes, little vicious bastards.
Yes, that is right. Leprechauns are meant to be like, if I remember right, leprechauns are meant to be like really cranky, aren't they?
I think so, yeah.
Something like that.
Because I think that's where the whole inspiration of the series for Leprechaun kind of stems off of. Obviously, it's Hollywoodized because it's a horror movie, but
yeah.
I mean, that's kind of where it's kind of like, okay, get some facts and all that. So if you ever see the end of a rainbow, don't go near it.
And yeah, they were actually leprechauns were, if I remember right, they were also known to repair shoes, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm. I think,
yeah. Which a lot of stuff goes around where, I mean, you can, and this isn't saying that it's not a bad thing on St. Patrick's Day to go out and celebrate, drink.
Just do it responsibly.
Yeah, just do it responsibly and not, I mean, sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's definitely good to know. I suppose. Well, that. But I'm going and saying. Sometimes it's nice to know the actual facts behind a holiday.
Right.
Compared to just, this is kind of like Cinco de Mayo. It's like a lot of people go out. A lot of people go out and get really toasted for that too. But it's like. Sometimes it's worth it to take a second and to learn different information about these holidays, even like St. Patrick's Day today. It's like, to the actual Irish, it's an actual holiday. That's the reason why the Irish, the Irish were originally, learned Christianity, because the guy came and advanced Christianity throughout the island before he died.
Mm-hmm. And now, for those who are not, find a way to word it appropriately, educated in that culture, being the Irish community, how do you say that, or Irish culture, I feel some of those who aren't educated and just go, oh, it's St. Paddy's Day, let's go out and get drunk and shit-faced and this and that. It's not even what the holiday is about. Like, yeah. It's a feast
obviously,
and it's a party,
yeah.
but it's...
Well, yeah, that's the one thing, too, is that it's also known as the Feast of St. Patrick, but in a sense of always be responsible with it.
Right.
And yes, I get it, the Irish are known to drink. It's okay, but still, it's in a sense of, sometimes it's worth it to take a second and learn and be like, hey, now we know the facts of what's actually St. Patrick's.
I mean, hey, now you know what you're drinking for.
Yeah. Now you know why the Chicago rivers dyed green and what they did and how it started. So you know that, yeah. I mean, it's also, like I said, in a sense of be responsible, be safe.
And have fun. Yeah. Be responsible, be safe, have fun. And now you guys, for those watching this, wherever you're at, now know what you're celebrating.
Yeah.
Now you can actually kind of say, this is what it's about, this is why I'm having this one drink, or maybe however many you want, whatever.
10 or 12.
Yeah, but, I mean, like we said throughout the whole video, be responsible, be safe, but also have fun.
Yeah. It's also, and not very many times, so far, not very many times we've got an actual holiday that falls on the release date of the videos.
Yeah.
So
this will be the first one.
This will be the first time we actually get to talk about a holiday, but yeah, that's okay. So the next step. So now that we've talked about that, The next topic on the business today is the downfalls that are going to be Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
And it kind of ties in with what we were talking about, was it last episode, the whole internet required?
Yep.
That's one thing that's definitely going to kill this game. Plus, once you add in the whole, instead of grinding your way up for these different costumes and skins for the characters, you actually are going to have to purchase them in-game, which is stupid.
And it also doesn't give you any advantage in this sort of game anyway, so it's like, what's the point of me wasting my money on something that's just going to make me look cool?
Yeah. It's like, I'd rather earn it by grinding through the game.
Yes.
And then, it's just the whole market of, we can make money after we release the game by adding in an in-market currency
in-game
where
currencies.
you can have microtransactions for skins and cosmetics. I don't give a shit about that crap.
No.
Like, just give me the base game. Quit making it internet required. Just make a standalone game.
Mm.
I don't know how many times I have to tell anybody, make a standalone game. It can still work, especially if you give it everything you have. It can still work. And if you're scared that your game's going to fail, look at these games right now. Hence why we're talking about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Now, I'm not going to lie. When I first saw the trailer, before anybody knew anything about it, I was thinking, okay,
It's a bigger game.
I could play it, But as we're learning more and more about it, it's just not sounding good at all.
This game's gonna flop.
It's gonna be DC's version of Marvel Avengers.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that, considering especially how this game is supposed to be in the Arkhamverse and like the recent Batman Arkham games, where if it's supposed to be 5 years after the events of Arkham Knight, what in the world is Batman doing in the game?
Who knows?
Like, they officially said that this Suicide Squad game is in that verse. It is in that line of games. Now, the recent Gotham Knights is not. It is a separate ending, separate branching off of that. But Suicide Squad is 5 years after Batman Arkham Knights, where Batman, or Bruce Wayne, creates the Nightfall Protocol, activates the Nightfall Protocol, I can't speak English, and he basically kills off Bruce Wayne. Now, in some comics, the Nightfall Protocol is so that to allow him to be full-time Batman, and not just pose off as Bruce Wayne, yada yada. But look however you want. Technically speaking, there was no information. I mean, I suppose the end credit scene definitely does say that, maybe Batman is still alive, but in a sense, he gone.
Yeah. So
the Nightfall Protocol is gone. So what's he doing? Why would he just go kill that off, and then go over here, justly, and it looks completely different? It's like a completely revamp of his character.
Like, I don't get it.
That's the part that I don't get to, and that's also kind of like the other characters they have. Were like Harley Quinn. What's she doing?
Yeah.
They completely took her character development from here and just said, nope, see you later. Along with Deadshot. Deadshot is a complete revamp of his character too. Why? For what? The story just, if you're saying that this is supposed to take place 5 years after this, why? And why completely do their characters and completely say screw it to their character development and their character changes?
I mean, it's just like you could have, especially with it being in the Arkham universe. There's so many different routes you could have gone down that would have been better if you were trying to incorporate the Suicide Squad.
Especially, they just completely did away with the combat that was in those games that was arguably really good.
Yeah.
Really worth it. Then you go to a completely soul shooter base.
And
like,
that
doesn't even
work with the more athletic characters such as Harley Quinn.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Like, there's no point. Why? If you're going to do a game like that, don't go out and say it's in the Arkhamverse. It is 5 years after Arkham Knights. Don't go completely changing everything and completely screwing the story. Just make it its own separate game.
Yeah.
Don't announce that it's actually 5 years after Arkham Knights. And go and pull that. And be like, hey, this is a different Harley Quinn. This is a different Deadshot. Batman's in this game, but he kind of technically got killed off until further information and further games come out where it says, hey, he's not dead. He's just now full-time Batman. Maybe I could have seen that if you post a game, if you release a game like that. But obviously a game like that is going to take a while. The last information we got was Batman's gone. And then now you put him back in the game 5 years after Arkham Knights happens, but yet why? Just why?
Makes no sense.
Gotham Knights was arguably a good game. It was a solid game. Granted, it wasn't in the Arkhamverse, so it was a different branch off where Batman actually dies. Okay, I get that. But make this a standalone game on its own, too, if you're going to go and botch the story like that.
I mean, if they keep pushing development back, they can fix the story.
Yeah.
They can fix everything. It's not published yet. You could switch up everything you've told the public. Make us think it's shit, and then fucking, just totally change everything and make it better. Give the fans what they want. I hate it when companies do this. They go, the fans will like this. What if we don't? Because half the time these companies put out video games and say, oh, we're listening to the fans.
No,
you're not. Here's one
kind of like
company.
the Marvel Avengers game. That one, I had such hype for it. Like these games, these certain games have so much hype behind them, and then once they get them, they just drop. Because like the Marvel Avengers game, it had potential to be good.
And
it wasn't. That's why they stopped development on it completely. Said, sorry about it. Sorry about this whole game. It's total shit. And just like, sorry.
And it's just like, for example, you want a company that actually got their ass handed to them by the fans and one of their development partners, Ukes. Fuck you. Let's see. 2K. With the whole WWE 2K franchise. They were doing good. They had 2K20. They were working on that. Out of nowhere, you hear halfway through development, Ukes leaves them and joins up with AEW and their fucking company, trying to relive the glory days. And I'm sorry, the only people that are going to be playing your game, AEW Fight Forever, are going to be a bunch of old heads that are born in the 90s or whatever. And I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's just, I'll buy it, I'll play it, I'll give my honest opinion about it. Who knows? I may like it. But for Ukes to sit there while halfway done developing a game with 2K, as we all know, turned out to be 2K20, the biggest hot mess 2K has ever made.
Yeah, that game was pretty bad. Not gonna lie.
I couldn't put all the blame on 2K.
No.
Because they have 2K, for NBA. And I'm pretty sure they got a bunch of other shit they're working on too, besides WWE. So, Ukes leaving them halfway through really fucked 2K.
Yeah, it did.
So, to Ukes, you have none of my respect. None whatsoever. You literally left halfway through. And I don't care what it was about. I'm not behind
But granted, 2K recovered pretty well from it.
Yeah.
Taking the year off, not making 2K21, and being like, all right, we need to step back for a second.
And they
gave out a really good game on WWE 2K22. That was a good game. Granted, sometimes some people believe that 2K23 that just came out is 2K22 in a different skin. I kind of agree in some sorts, but other sorts they're still improving. They were kind of cautious. They were kind of cautious to go too far forward, but be like, okay, all right, we got a good step here in 2K22. Let's take a little bit step forward in 2K23 before we come out with the controversial stuff that's going to go from here to here. Let's go here, let's go here, and then let's go here.
Baby steps.
Which is a really good game. They rebounded, after having that hot mess drop. It was like, okay, let's take this time, let's separate, and let's do this. Kind of like how the Assassin's Creed game should go.
Yeah.
Stop making such big open-world RPG games. They're not Assassin's Creed. You're just trying to make money off of the Assassin's Creed name. There's no point.
Assassin's Creed
is meant for stealth and stealthy combat.
I'm going to just say this.
Not RPGs. It's bullshit.
I'm going to just say this.
Granted, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a good game. Don't get me wrong. It's a very good game, but it's not Assassin's Creed.
That's what leads me to say this. Assassin's Creed is not Skyrim or
Yes.
Fallout or any open world RPG. It
Assassin's
is a
Creed
stealth-based game.
is Assassin's Creed
back
for a
to it.
reason. Which is why I think I saw that Assassin's
yeah.
Creed Mirage is
Yep.
supposed to be more of the stealth combat, which that would be great. But we have too many open world games nowadays where it's like too many large open world games where it's like, stop. For 2 seconds, stop. You're branching out. You're trying to keep up with everybody else when
And
you
it's
should
gonna
not
end up
be.
biting you in the ass.
You should not be trying to keep up with everybody else on what they're doing. Do your own thing, because Assassin's Creed was originally beloved for that reason. It was simple combat. You could parkour authentically. You had to actually grab the wall instead of just auto running up a fucking wall and climbing up unrealistic points of unrealistic walls.
Yeah.
They're like some walls you should have no reason being able to run straight up the wall and climb up on nothing, grasping on like a little ledge that's like that big. It's like that big. I can't put my fingers on that. Like, just do your own thing.
And don't worry, guys. Next Friday, we got something hot and fresh for you. We're going to be discussing Michael.
We're going to be discussing
should
should the government regulate microtransactions and loot boxes like they do in gambling.
Yeah.
We'll get a lot into that next week because that is a good topic that's going on right now, because a lot of games have microtransactions, loot boxes like
card
Madden.
packs.
Yeah, like Madden with Ultimate Teams, 2K with their... I think they do something similar to that too.
Yeah, I think in both NBA and WWE.
Where you pay for packs and try to get rare items, all that stuff. We're going to get into a lot into that next week. Look forward to that because that's going to be a good episode. Yeah. So that's just information on next week. With that, I don't think we've got anything else to cover. We kind of really went over it, especially with Suicide Squad. I really had hope for the game when the game trailer came out, but you botched it already. Even putting development, saying we're going to do this on this day, and then pushing it back and pushing it back, pushing it back. You've lost the hype.
Yep.
There's no point.
Hype is dead.
Hype's dead. Very well dead. It's a beaten horse. It's dead.
Yep.
Nothing. You had hype at the game trailer. It looked really good, and then you botched it. Announcing how the gameplay was, announcing that it was a shooter style base, which is really not worth it in a game like that. The story's dumb. Makes no sense. I mean, it's a good sense in theory having the Suicide Squad, but why bring the?
All mumbo jumbo.
It's all, especially like, where was the Justice League when the events of Batman Arkham Knights happened? Don't you think that Batman probably would have said, "Hey, come help me"? But no, they were non-existent in the last games. Why bring them up now when all of a sudden they're trying to kill everybody? What's the point? Zero. But anyway, without further ado, we're going to end it here. We got nothing else to talk about. Until next week, look forward to that on that Friday. Without further ado, happy St. Patrick's Day. I can't speak English anymore. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Have a great day, great night, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this video. And without anything, you got anything else to say, my dear sir? Alright, so without